Now repeat after me. Give me blue.
Give me blue.
Good. Where is Spica?
Where is Spica?
Where the f is my jungler?
Where the f Spica?
Riot nerf Yumi.
Riot nerf Yumi.
Riot nerf Yumi.
Why kill the f***ing cat?
Perfect. What the f does Reddit know? Mother just sit there all day. They don't understand anything. You are a pro player. You know better than the damn Reddit analysts.
Prince is trolling.
Yes! Yes, VicLa!
Oh, hey, VicLa.
Oh, hey Smith.
How you doing?
Great. Study English.
What'd you learn in English class today?
I run you that son of a get wrecked. You like your mom getting.
Don't listen to Overly.
Don't listen to Ollie.
I mean, I think we have a lot of work to do. I think earlier on display we found a formula of winning, right? And then you know, meta shifts and things like that. I think we just need to find ourselves again. Obviously, we only have 1 week, but I think we all know what our issues is, and you know, we're fixing it in the process as well. So I'm confident.
Welcome back. We are about to get into Game 2 draft, but before we do, I want to hear from you guys some predictive stuff on what could happen based on Game 1 draft.
Well, we said that we wanted the blue side.
Blue side.
Yeah.
We wanted a blue side, and then it seems like from just the gray screen, 100 Thieves chose red side. So it feels like this could just be a run back. That's kind of something that I'm expecting.
I wonder how salty it's going to be, because we were saying that a lot of it felt dictated by the level 1 and guys are being set behind and like a bad early skirmish. And if that's their mindset too, they might not have a problem with the actual draft beyond that. Maybe there's some adaptations around this specific jungle matchup, but like Bjergsen loves playing Zillion, and it's kind of an even lane against the Veigar. Feels like both kind of just happy to scale, and you know, Zillion does scale very well. They have Jinx paired with it. Like, I think in a world where they're not getting snowballed on, they might feel good, and they say, let's just clean up the first 10 minutes, and this is a fine draft.
Yeah. Coming out of the draft, I actually quite liked 100 Thieves draft overall. So it's one of those things where it's like, be predictive, predicting the same thing. And a lot of the pain points from 100 Thieves side was all the stuff we kind of talked about in the early portions of the game that Mark also mentioned. So it's a little tough there, honestly. So at least I think the only thing you could probably look at is probably picking away a Sion a little earlier, if that's something that they feel like is really detrimental to their play.
Yeah, Bjergsen's contacts fell out. That's why we have the short delay. He's back in the chair.
There it is. He can see again.
He was crying.
Chrono shifted his contact lens back into his eye.
Or
just put on glasses.
Put his glasses on.
Wait.
Oh, okay, screw the
Does he
contact.
do both?
Does he double up?
I swear he had glasses in Game 1.
Contacts and glasses.
What if he wears contacts, but then like, you know, no prescription glasses? Yeah, just a look. Yeah.
Or alternatively, change your eye color, no prescription contacts.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What
Has
is-
anyone checked Bjergsen's eye color lately?
Yeah, that's the meta.
It's actually something okay, you go for it. Yours
No,
is
I'm
probably
about to
more
go back to
relevant.
reality. If you want to stay in
I was going and it was just wild.
All right, I was gonna say,
Return to draft.
since they're staying on red side, the other angle, other
Yes.
than, you know, running it back, is to hard pivot into more counter pick oriented stuff.
Yep.
And if you want to do that, it makes a little sense to do it from red side. So like, yeah, the Gwen was banned, but they still ended up going with Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
It's a Sion matchup. Like, maybe they want to go a little more carry oriented for Tenacity, because that is, like we've been saying, even though he's been on this tank kick for a little bit, that is more his preferred playstyle, and maybe that's what they want to try for Game 2, is like, let's hard pivot away from this scaling front to back team fight and give our solo laners a little bit more carry potential.
Yeah, in theory, you can counterpick more early game from red side. I really don't like the fact that they've done red side 2 games in a row. Like, I think they're an underdog in the series either way, but just the plan works so cleanly for FlyQuest by banning 2 junglers. 100 Thieves bans Elise almost every single game. Currently, none of the bans are different. The run back is very salty so far. We have 5 identical bans from Game 1.
So, like, going to Mark's point a little bit is if they did want to change things and play more counterpick oriented, Tenacity in the early portions of the split has played stuff like Fiora, Jace, stuff like that more regularly. If they want to play melee topside matchup, if they see an angle where they can play Aurelia with Sejuani, that's something they can go towards. But like we said earlier,
We are running it back.
yes.
And here's where, okay.
Salty.
Well, nope, we're gonna
No, it
pivot.
hasn't been locked yet. that can still go Lucian again. I don't see why there's any impetus for FlyQuest to change it when their initial game plan was so good. You won't get the same exact crazy early game, but still.
I actually think the one impetus to change it is the fact that we already talked about how risky it can be to blind both of your solo laners, right? And obviously they did set it up in 4-5 with the Liss and Gwen bans in game 1. But that was coupled with this level 1 that we already talked about to specifically set Closer behind so he couldn't affect his early lanes. Here they're basically saying, we know we can't get away with that level 1 again.
Yeah.
We're picking scaling with Zeri Lulu to go up against Jinx and presumably Thresh.
I do like adaptations from winning sides. I feel like sometimes it can be a bait to be like, that worked, let's do it again. To your point, like to think it's gonna go the same way. And so here they're saying, okay, we cheesed you a little bit in the early game last time. Now we're going more scaling in the bot lane because obviously Prince has an absolutely insane Zeri.
Now we're holding, I assume, top lane to 4 pick. Seems like that's the case. There are a lot more blind pickable, safe top laners. The Sion should just get nuked, so I'm not even gonna talk about it. But Cho'Gath is going to be available, I have to assume. I think that would be the go-ahead for Tenacity. Just interested to see if FlyQuest would go down that road.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Tenacity also playing that previous game, being like, I had no influence over that game. It felt terrible for me. I want to do a little bit more, because that felt like I showed up to team fights and my team was 5K down. You know, like, that felt pretty bad for him, I bet.
The Ahri ban coming out, something we've seen a lot more in LPL and LCK. I am super curious as to what they're going to decide on for their 4th pick. And Veigar ban, so they're banning the Veigar
FlyQuest is just throwing curveballs left and right. They stomp game 1, the bans are exactly the same. They're the ones that take the left turn with the Zeri Lulu. I think it does make sense in the fact that they're going to change level 1. But now, I mean, if they wanted to, they could just take the Cho into the Sion and go for scaling.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for 100 Thieves to actually engage on FlyQuest with the Lulu pickup. I think that one's the biggest one. Lulu, Wukong, and team fights just going to be really unbearable to deal with. It's going to be hard for them to, 100 Thieves that is, to really make anything work with a Thresh hook. So it's not going to be as simple as that. So I want to see what the next pick is going to be.
I also wonder if it's not just going to be Cassante. It could be Taliyah, but I'm wondering if Impact isn't just going to go Cassante into the Sion, just because that is a pick that we've seen him be super comfortable on, and
there's always a world.
Nope.
Taliyah with
is this the game?
Scaling carry topside, you want to get up there. I mean, your bot lane is a bit of a handshake right now. Like Zeri Lulu is, you can play aggressively around it, but like with Wukong, it's not the easiest thing to set up ganks for. So if you wanted to find a pressure point in the map, you could make it topside.
It's Cassante.
Oh no! It's Cassante!
We knew, I was trying.
Wait, you tried to make it interesting.
Dude played this 9 times in the spring split already.
Yeah.
What do you think he's gonna play? Is most play champ again? That's Impact in a nutshell, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty straightforward for 100 Thieves, straight front to back. This is going back to what was more comfortable with them now with the Sion being picked up. So I like what I see here from 100 Thieves. For me, we talked about the level 1s pretty heavily. I know people are more focused on the draft point of view, though. If you're 100 Thieves, you're just focusing on stacking early, level 1, topside, so you actually get protected and you don't lose out the topside quadrant.
Yeah, and I think the big thing to look at again is also going to be this jungler matchup. The level 1 was to specifically get Closer behind so he couldn't affect his lanes. That will not happen with the Sion being on 100 Thieves side this time around. So now we will send it to casters and get into the game.
Thank you very much, analysts, and welcome back, everybody. I'm CaptainFlowers, joined by Kobe and Courage here for this best of 5. Game number 1, unfortunately, Courage, for you over at 100 Thieves, was a bit of a landslide for FlyQuest. 100 Thieves running back the first half of their draft here in game number 2.
Curses are not real. I do not want to hear it. I'm done with it. We're getting into the action. I'm not the problem.
We'll see.
I've been telling myself that for years.
The first step is acceptance.
He's not there yet.
The reason I'm not challenger is because of my teammates, not me. Okay? I saw the Avali video there. I know how to complain.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to be promoting that mentality there from
it's everyone else's fault but mine. Folks, no, the energy here in the LCS studio is absolutely phenomenal. This is a best of 5, remember, as we are getting into game number 2 between FlyQuest and 100 Thieves.
True.
Looking at this, I think all 3 of us were a little bit surprised to see 100 Thieves choose red side. Yeah, from your perspective, Give me your thoughts on this decision.
I'm still a little bit perplexed that they wanted to run back basically the same thing. It does feel like that emphasis on the salty run back, where they feel like there were so many things in game number 1 that they could actually change and still have success by playing Doublelift Jinx carry, basically. Well, it's okay if Closer absorbs these bans. You know, he's completely fine on Zhao. And yes, you know, there were a lot of things leading into it with the level 1, with the way that FlyQuest played, but I am skeptical here that 100 Thieves are going to be able to pull off the run back, because now you're heading into this game, and yes, you should be able to defend against the level 1 and have that not happen again. But it wasn't like FlyQuest left a lot of openings, you know? It was because they were playing so well.
All right, so update for everybody. Prince is not just folding paper towels because it's fun. He had a monitor shaking issue, and he's using some good old MacGyver technology to combine some napkins and a cup to make the monitor stop shaking. While Prince takes care of constructing this advanced monitor technology, Jat was able to catch up with Nuke Duck ahead of game number 2. Let's check out what they had to say.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Nuke Duck. And yeah, so what I just heard is happening is Prince's monitor is shaking. So he's literally sticking a cup and some paper towel under it to stop it from shaking. Then they're getting the game. But we have you here because I want to talk to you about the draft. We were all surprised that you stayed red side this game. Do you want to talk a little bit about that decision?
Yeah, I just felt like I figured out what they wanted to do, and I just didn't think it was that good. I think they just managed to do like very well at level 1, and that's why they managed to snowball. But yeah, I was ready to like make some adaptations later on, perhaps, but to do a similar style. So you were ready to run it back, because we always have that question about like the salty run back after a loss. If they don't change their pick on Zeri Lulu and they just do VicLa Sion again, you would have just kept it going. That is possible, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so with this now, different champions being picked, they have the Zeri Lulu into your Jinx Thresh. What do you hope is different in this game to bounce back in the series?
I mean, this game is way more like balanced in terms of drafts. I would say like it's way more, they don't have to snowball as hard this game. It's more even, but I just hope we, get even early game, and then we're most likely gonna win. So that's what I hope will happen. Of course, I hope they don't have some other like good level 1s, and I hope we react properly.
Yeah, just take Gathering Storm.
Yeah, I hope maybe we dive them as 4-man level 2 bot. I would like if that happened.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We'll send it back to the cash. Let's get into the game.
All right, thank you, boys. And yeah, it sounds like the typical approach that you hear anytime you get the salty run back in a game, which is the plan wasn't the problem, the execution was the issue. So I want to see if 100 Thieves can avoid those pitfalls in the early game and make it to that even back and forth that Nuke Duck's describing between these comps later on.
Okay, in that case, I would like to bring up an issue that I did see later in the game where, yes, 100 Thieves were already behind, but there was a disconnect in how they actually were executing on some of their team fights. Okay. If you remember back to the team fight on the top side of the map, Closer on Zhao actually charges forward into FlyQuest backline, and he lets VicLa just walk past him straight towards Doublelift. You have to actually protect this Jinx, even more so now that you don't have the revive from Zilean in this comp, so they have to use their peeling tools. Xin ult, Sion, Orianna ultimate, Shockwave, Busio has to be in a good position to not only land Thresh hooks, but also the lanterns for Doublelift to be able to keep him safe. So hopefully they've been able to also recognize the kind of disconnect that they have in some of the team fights here.
And I've got to give a major shout out to 100 Thieves here. A brilliant level 1 so far. Their entire game isn't over basically already. So game 2 off to a brilliant start. I actually shouldn't speak yet. I really shouldn't.
You got to be careful, man. Yeah. You're officially on the caster's desk for this one. That means you have the power of the caster curse.
No, curses aren't real.
I do like it though, as you pointed out, and they've got the double protection wards for your top camps. Guess what? Zhao really likes top camps. Red buff is the best buff in the game, and he has been able to secure all top camps, double protection warding on both ramps to get in there. So you get your level 3 on your Xin, you have flash, at that point you do feel like a god, especially when playing against the Wukong, because you have a lot of power in these all-ins, in these duels.
One thing I wanted to ask too, a question to both of you, as this is my first time ever casting a playoff match. I'm nervous. Well, this is the first playoff match for, I know Tenacity, I know Busio. How much do you think nerves came into play in game number 1 in their biggest match of their life so far?
I feel like, I mean, it's so hard because you have to know the player. Some people, when they get big moments like these, you get excited.
Yeah.
Some people do get a bit nervous and a little bit more scared, trepidatious. In game number 1, it did feel like it wasn't due to nerves, and it was due to FlyQuest with a really good opening plan, not giving them a lot of time, and honestly not a lot of opportunity to fail in those situations. So I don't think that.
All right, I don't need to read too much into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Fine. They'll be fine.
All right.
We are now the Courage support group.
Yeah, we got your back, buddy.
Wow, thank you.
We'll all get through this together as 100 Thieves do have the push here in bottom lane. You can see Closer is down on this half of the map. He's full cleared through his entire jungle. Now he'll be able to take out this bottom side Scuttle Crab. A similar story being told for Spica up on the other end of things. Also doing a full clear, also into a Scuttle Crab as Prince ends up on some chompers. Not loving that situation a whole lot, but he returns some good damage onto Busio and Doublelift. The problem is, Closer's ready to make an appearance. FlyQuest are not falling back at all. Eyla's now ignited. Prince and Eyla wanting to get away from this one. Eyla's going to be the target. Closer just primes the Q. He gets it, and it's first blood over to Doublelift.
I mean, the vision control in that river, completely one-sided. You see the 2 wards there, Scuttle controlled as well. And I'm pretty sure that ward from FlyQuest did see Closer start the Scuttle, so they knew he was on this bottom side of the map. Unfortunately for them, yeah, look, you can see in the vision, so they knew he was in this area. I guess just maybe a slight miscommunication there that they didn't pick up on it.
It's kind of crazy too, because this is something that the FlyQuest bottom lane did really well in the first game. Even though they were playing Lucianami, they were pushed up, they never gave that opportunity to Closer, who was in, and he was on the bottom side of the map. But this time around, you called it out. They see him in the river. They still give it up due to the trade there from Busio, who started out really nice trade on Thresh. He moves up. They got him onto the Flame Choppers, then into the Flay as well to really do a lot of setup work here onto Eyla and secure the kill.
So in game number 1, we talked about how FlyQuest recognized 100 Thieves' methods of success, and they drafted some of those methods away from them, used it against them. Remember that the methods of success against FlyQuest for a lot of teams that found wins against them in the second half of the regular split were target Prince, hit bot lane, stop this massive carry from getting online, and I like the early focus down here from Closer to make sure that you're focusing Prince yet again. That seems to be one of the common denominators for winning against this team.
And that's exactly why I thought FlyQuest were being so cautious in game number 1 on bottom side of the map. Because I thought, oh yeah, they recognize that also. But game number 2 here, without extra information on Closer, they give the opening.
Prince versus Doublelift in a 1v1. Both of them trading back pretty heavily. Down to 400, 300 HP. Potions being consumed by both AD carries. Now as the supports return, ready to back each other up. But it's not just the supports for 100 Thieves. Closer again, shadowing this area as VicLa gets taken down to less than 100 HP. Bjergsen nearly getting a solo kill in.
Yeah, we can see it in the emphasis here from 100 Thieves. They're fighting over the vision right here. Middle and bottom. This part of the river, so critical to the early game, because those are the 2 lanes that you really want to influence as the Xin with the early possibilities for himself. So keeping those control wards, keeping that river nice and clean for them to be able to make those moves is going to give them a lot of benefit. Top side, though.
Get ready to go all out. I am assuming they get the knock-up, they get the follow-up damage. A little bit more will seal the deal, and Tenacity dies underneath the turret. He's going to use his dead body to try to farm up all the minions that he can. He knows there's not anything he can get back against the champions, and now he's going to lose out on a little bit more before teleporting back to minimize those losses.
Problem is, with going top side, why so many junglers don't like doing it, you're going to give up the early dragon, unless a rock steals it, in which case Closer is going to have a talking to afterwards. But you give up the early dragon, and guess what? 100 Thieves already got the first blood money onto Doublelift, onto the Jinx. So bottom side of the map, being in control of 100 Thieves, I guess this is exactly what Nuke Duck envisioned. And now you're seeing the proof here, the validation for the salty run back. I mean, this opening is 10 times better for 100 Thieves.
I think it's really cool to see the trust he has in the players to execute better, right? To say, you know what? We love our strategy here. Let's go ahead, send it right back into game number 2. Let's not show more of our cards we might have up our sleeves. Instead, I believe in you guys. Clean up that level 1, give yourselves a chance, and I think you can do it. And so far, we have ourselves a pretty even start. Dragon in favor of 100 Thieves, slight gold advantage, very, very minimal. over to FlyQuest after that kill top.
And the nice part about getting that early Drake for 100 Thieves, it's before 8 minutes. It means there's not going to be a handshake trade for a Rift Herald at the same time. It means they might be able to contest for that Herald once it does spawn. Remember, in game number 1, FlyQuest had 4 out of 4 neutral objective control before 20 minutes into the game, and that means this time around, 100 Thieves getting any of it is already better for them.
And I also want to point out, perfect timing with this gold graph pop-up, by the way, observers. I want to point out that the top of the scoreboard sometimes will be a little bit disingenuous, as we might have a big play here, though. We might want to save this. No blast cone taken. No surprise play yet, but it is going to be looking like all 10 for a possible Rift Herald here.
Oh, boy. 100 Thieves recognize they want to go for this neutral objective, and they are stronger in the bot lane right now. They bring everyone on over. This Rift Herald going down quite quick. They will be able to secure it, as it doesn't look like there'll be any opportunity here for FlyQuest to go on in. They do get a knockup now on a closer. He's going to have to pop that ultimate early on and get away, but overall,
easy trade.
Not too bad. I think you take that, and now you get up here for the farm as well.
Yeah, you'll more than take that. You will celebrate so hard after that for 100 Thieves, because the thing I was going to point out when they pull up the gold graph is that at the top, when you look at team gold, it might not tell this big story, but look at the AD carry specifically. Where your gold is and concentrated on carries, especially, you know, for these types of comps where you've got Zeri and you've got Jinx, massive carries. Having a concentrated gold lead there on the double lift with double mobility summoners, you know, ghost speed resets for these team fights, in addition to getting excited, is exactly what they want. And now they've got Rift Herald, which also allows you to focus where you want to put even more gold.
And it's even small little hits too. Tenacity just stopped both backs top lane. So now they're going to get back to bot lane first. They're going to get control of that bot scuttle yet again and set up for this next dragon that's up in 2 minutes.
I will say, for a side of FlyQuest here, some things that could go bad for 100 Thieves. It is pretty difficult to play Xin into Taliyah in a lot of situations because the rock field basically stops your engages for Xin, and you will end up, every time you charge the Taliyah, it's a very predictable spot anytime you charge anyone, and so it's an easy seismic shove for the Taliyah to hit. So Closer has to be way more careful this game, not only because he's playing against the Taliyah, but also because he does not have a Zillion behind him to pick him back up if they do overdive or make a mistake.
Exactly. Everything is on that crescent sweep to be able to protect him and make sure that he doesn't die as soon as he enters. Worth pointing out, the Iceborne Gauntlet completed as the first mythic item this game. That is for Impact's Cassante, who does have a sizable farm lead over his opponent in the Sion. Building that Iceborne Gauntlet always feels good for Cassante, but when you're up against an AD lane opponent as well as an AD jungler and the enemy hyper carries in bottom lane while mid lane is just an Orianna, this is going to feel really good for Cassante to build the Iceborne Gauntlet, Sunfire Cape. Those items that normally just feel great on him, going to feel even better here in this one. Still a modest gold lead for 100 Thieves. Under 1 minute until the next Drake spawns. As you can see, a lot of vision for both sides, but it ends up being an advantage in that department for 100 Thieves as well, here in the bottom half of the map. As both junglers are thinking about getting involved, they're going to summon up the Eye of the Herald. That will guarantee take away a plate and a half.
And it's not just the junglers. Sion is here too. 100 Thieves with a full commit to this Herald play. I love this. They're going to have Orianna roam down, Sion ultimate through with the Rift Herald.
They want to make the dive. TP coming in to defend on the side of FlyQuest. And now 100 Thieves see Spica's here as well. But the TP was an absolute int. VicLa nearly dies as soon as he arrives, and 100 Thieves shows they're more ready than FlyQuest is here in the bottom lane. All 5 men from 100 Thieves still hanging around. One more plate's gonna go down and the money goes over to Doublelift. They should just be able to force down the rest of this. 100 Thieves with the power play here on the bottom side. They'll take first turret, they'll take another Drake. They're having an awesome early game.
My single favorite type of Sion play. Trying to get your top laner involved early recalling your Sion to make some of these ultimate plays from down the lane, and we've seen it so many times. This is why this champion is so popular as a tank. Spica going for a steal possibly, though?
Thinking about it, but not quite. Nope, as soon as he uses the W, you know it's not happening.
In game number 1, it felt like FlyQuest was always one step ahead. In game number 2 to start, it feels like it's 100 Thieves in that position right now. Another thing to point out, all those plates going down into Doublelift's pocket. I'd love to see the gold difference again on that AD carry position to see where we stack up. Because right now, for the marksman, 5,400 to 4,100, Kobe. Now 1,300 gold this early in the game. That's half an item already.
Yeah, that's a Kraken Slayer. That is a fully completed Kraken Slayer there for Doublelift. So 100 Thieves bouncing back really, really strong here in game number 2. This is what we want for a best of 5. You know, we want an exciting start to playoffs here. Looks like we will be getting it. Eyla and Prince making that swap up to the top side. FlyQuest now, they're in a similar situation to how we were talking about 100 Thieves in the previous game, where they're now looking, we need to get Zeri some money here. We need to get Prince. Prince has been the all-star for this team. Prince is the guy everyone was lauding as MVP immediately at the beginning of the league. First few weeks of the LCS, they dominated. His mechanics on point always. They always can have some trust in him in the late game if they get him some money.
Well, the first 13.5 minutes of this game have already passed. That means only 30 seconds left until the plates fall. And the early game so far has given credibility to the 100 Thieves run back of half the draft. To them saying, we want to stay on red side. We want to try this again and give it another shot. It looks a lot better this time around. 3.5 minutes till the next Drake, so everybody's hanging out here on the top side because there's not much to play for on the other end of Summoner's Rift.
So far in this game, when it was time to go for the first dragon, 100 Thieves already had the bot river covered in wards. They got to the top side of the map first, they set up the river for Rift Herald with a bunch of pick wards all over, they easily take it. They then flip that script again towards the bot lane, and now guess what, Kobe? They're doing the same thing again here for this Rift Herald. It looks like it's just a flip-flop back and forth. Whatever neutral objective is up, they're saying, no. You got all 4 of the first ones last game. It's time for us to do this in game 2.
Just a little bit of that Nuke Duck coaching magic.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just win the early game. Oh,
What, wait, we can do that?
that's some good coaching right there. Honestly though, Doublelift having the time of his life here on the Jinx. Obviously a signature champion for him with huge team fighting possibilities. Closest with red buff here, meeting up with Spica, mirroring red buffs. Nice clone.
Yep. Spica level 8 compared to the level 9 of Closer. You can see the EXP bars about 95% of the way there. It means one single camp will do it. If you can secure this Scuttle Crab, that ought to get it done. But of course, you don't want it to just be stolen away by Closer. Oh, and he does get it. That denies the level 9. It keeps Closer with the +1 level advantage. Nicely done there. 40 HP shy of Spica being able to knock it down without needing his own smite. And now it's 100 Thieves who are bringing everybody not named Tenacity over, and Tenacity's walking up so he can try to make an entrance here with the ulti. FlyQuest also has a lot of bodies nearby, but do they want to fight this? Prince coming up from behind. They're seeing if they can fight. The eyeball is open. They want to go after this. It's going to be stolen away by Prince of all people. FlyQuest complete the hype, but 100 Thieves are ready to go into the fight. Closer's here in the middle, as Impact wants to tank up in the front. Spica's ready to follow it up here with a Cyclone. Closer's taking low, but he ain't going to be taken down. Finally falls over. Spica taking a lot of damage. Where's Prince at? Massive shockwave coming out of Bjergsen. A double kill, that going to double lift. And 100 Thieves just got 3.
That's a triple for Doublelift, and even though they lose the Rift Herald, they're going to be the ones taking down towers afterwards. They actually go for the call off on the reset here, not going to overextend for that tower. Even though the FlyQuest members have recalled. What a start though. Leaving the eyeball up on Rift Herald is going to allow the opportunity for a FlyQuest steal, even though Spica doesn't commit. Look at this. The eyeball is exposed behind the Herald, so early smite from Closer. He thought he was going to be able to combine it with an auto on the eyeball himself, and he didn't get it. Now, look at the engage. Impact starts by peeling Closer, but critically, Impact did not get to all out. He did not get to ult on Cassante. I thought he was going to ult the Xin further back over that wall. Because he does not, it gives Doublelift the reset. Doublelift got the first reset, and then Bjergsen sets him up with a shockwave that gets 3 flashes out because of it. And once you've got your Jinx, this is why people take the Ghost on as well. With the reset, gets excited, plus your Ghost running in these team fights. Doublelift gets to run over, most damage in the team fight. Bjergsen following him up with that shockwave, and now 100 Thieves are in a position to take over the map.
The story of this game so far has been the gold going in the pocket of Doublelift, who now has a 400 bounty on himself. There's another turret as well, 3rd dragon spawning. 100 Thieves, they want to stack these Drakes right now, get to that soul as soon as possible.
And you can see, just based on the position of the FlyQuest players, they are not interested in a contest. Instead, they're going to trade across the map. VicLa will go ahead, escort this wave in, take down the last bit of HP on that tier 1 turret. That is the first turret FlyQuest has claimed the entire game. It brings the gold lead back down to about 1,000, but 100 Thieves is still fine with the way things are. They are on sole point for the rest of the game now. Every single one of these Drakes is a massive consequence for FlyQuest if they lose it, and a massive dub for 100 Thieves if they can collect. They're gonna trade tier 2s across top and bottom. FlyQuest taking the top, it's 100 Thieves taking the bottom, and Doublelift just continues to get more and more and more money.
Yeah, 100 Thieves are able to go 1-for-1 in turrets when FlyQuest have a Rift Herald. So without having to expend one themselves, they go even on those objectives. FlyQuest, though, looking at trying to get themselves right back into it. They have possibilities for some Taliyah plays here. They have double teleports available to the double teleports of 100 Thieves. So there's a lot of possibilities on the map right now, and it's mostly about the difference in vision. FlyQuest left a bunch of vision behind up in the upper quadrant here of the jungle, so we'll see if there's any sneaky teleports. Again, I think it was so big there. There was no Cassante ultimate in the last fight. Those types of ultimates can be game-changing for these team fights, moving someone across and completely changing positioning.
I think about 3 minutes ago, we talked about Doublelift finishing that Kraken Slayer and what that means. Now he's got an Infinity Edge. Time in 100 Thieves' favor at the moment. They're gonna look for this tier 1 turret in the top lane. They should have it with ease. Doublelift gets excited, not gonna follow up here as of yet, as FlyQuest might want to answer as a teleport now comes in.
FlyQuest is ready to go. Spica wants the flank, but this time he's gonna be flayed back. He looks for Doublelift. Cyclone 2 hits him, but a nice death sentence from Busio. He's hitting these all over the place. In game number 2, Busio sets him up for Doublelift to knock him down. Prince tries to kite back, but there's nothing left, and 100 Thieves surge to life.
Honestly, this is demolition. 100 Thieves are crushing them. Spica goes in as the main engage trying to flank around. Because Spica's trying to trap them, though, he goes in without the support of the rest of the team, without impact there, and they just burn him down, giving the first reset there for Doublelift. I thought even, with the way that this game was going, 100 Thieves might chase the stragglers just so they could 20-minute Baron on spawn, but they let them walk away in the aftermath.
You can see here Spica going in all the way. No major damage coming in, try to get it done.
Yeah.
But you can see here, they're completely fine with it. A great hook by Busio to complete that kill. The knock-up on the impact, another hook comes in from Busio as well. Guarantees the second. I would say he made more of an impact there in that fight than he had in game number 1 as Thresh. He's looking more comfortable on this champion in game 2 as well.
He certainly is. He certainly is. In the last team fight as well, him flashing to death sentence sprints, also getting that cleanse down, so it wasn't up for this fight either. So definitely some much bigger plays from him bouncing back, and a second, 1 second means so much of a difference in a team fight there. Because we just saw Spica's in there taking damage while the rest of the DPS of FlyQuest are not able to deal any damage, and the other tanks, Impact, not there to support him as well. So 100 Thieves now, they can use that momentum, fully blocking out vision around the Baron. FlyQuest trying to push out mid lane to at least get some pseudo vision from pushing the mid wave, but 100 Thieves will contest them on every single one.
100 Thieves ready to skirmish here in the mid lane. The engage now comes in. Already Lulu having to be popped on the Princess. He's all the way out of the fight. It's a 4v1 on the other side. Impact does stay alive for the moment as they begin to just let Doublelift shell. It's first blood coming in from Taliyah on a Sion, and nothing else left. Nice job by FlyQuest there. Prince staying alive from the Lulu ult. That's about as good as it's gonna get in a fight right there. Maybe 100 Thieves getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, as there's still 1 minute until this 4th dragon, which could be sold for 100 Thieves. What went wrong there in the fight, Kobe?
Honestly, it is the willingness to expend these cooldowns, because what you really have to keep in mind when you're fighting a minute before the dragon is what is not going to be available to you for the dragon's soul. And now, Prince has no summoner spells, no cleanse, no flash. Impact actually did a very good job there this time around with his all-out, his flash. But I have to say, 100 Thieves, if they're able to rotate right back down to that dragon, now having no summoner spells on Prince and Doublelift having his flash, whoa, closer gets knocked in though. This is a big, big setup. That is another flash that was just used in that last team fight that FlyQuest were pretty happy to take advantage of. It's about which one will be able to abuse it the best.
And remember, there is no Nami or any type of regular healing on the side of 100 Thieves, aside from Closer just being able to vamp up on the jungle camps, which you can see by his health bar is still very, very effective. He should be close to 100% HP, ready to go again for this upcoming Craig fight. VicLa has barrier, but no flash. Spica gets away from the decimating smash of Tenacity, but keep your eyes on Doublelift. That's the name of the whole story here. Busio with Shirelia's Reverie. VicLa's gonna be caught again and again and again and again and again. They are finding their mark, and 100 Thieves just secured themselves a Dragon Soul.
That right there is why I felt like 100 Thieves, even though they lost a player in the last fight, because they burned the flashes of VicLa and Prince, the flashes of the FlyQuest carries, they've got the advantage over the Dragon. Spica, though, he needs to steal this one. He still has Wukong flash. Spica, can he do it?
He just got death sentenced over the wall. There is no way. He knows if he goes in, he's just gonna die. It's Ocean Soul at 23 minutes, 4-0 on the Dragon count for 100 Thieves.
Heal also used there by Eyla to stay alive. Another summoner spell down for what will be the prep to set up for Baron on the other side of the map. When you look at the scoreboard right now, it's all in favor of 100 Thieves. Yes, the gold's not there entirely as of yet at only 2,000 at the 23-minute mark, but it's these Dragon Souls, these buffs. Now, 6 kills onto Doublelift, 212 CS. He is completely in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, and because of the state of AD carry itemization, Bloodthirster, oh, it's OP there. Not going to be able to kill Doublelift anytime soon.
I would never say that for what it's worth.
As soon as he finishes his Bloodthirster, FlyQuest are really going to be crying because it will be significantly more difficult to actually kill him.
Well, 100 Thieves now have the confidence to start playing around this Baron. They have Ocean Soul. The healing is going to make it so Baron essentially does no meaningful damage to them whatsoever. They can start it up. They can back off. Ayla's already at half HP from where Closer chunked him down a little bit earlier. So 100 Thieves are now daring FlyQuest to intervene and stop them. Closer's got the smite to secure the Scuttle Crab, but that means they don't want to immediately go back onto the Baron. They want to allow that smite cooldown to recharge. It'll be back up here in a couple of seconds. Double is back in mid, pushing things out as 100 Thieves continue their advance.
100 Thieves should be getting towers off of this. Immediately pushed there by Doublelift. He's one of the AD carries in the LCS that goes to minion waves quicker than any other. Everybody's grouped up at objective. He'll immediately go out. They push down mid lane. They get a tower for their troubles. I think because 100 Thieves have Ocean Soul, they could even be more aggressive with pushing out minion waves, have impact there. His teleport is ready on Sion. Perma him bottom and just start up the Baron as many times as you want. You will infinitely heal with this Ocean Soul off of Baron, and impact can get bottom side pushing for you to really put the clamps onto FlyQuest.
Now, one thing that you got to remember, if you're 100 Thieves, the Elder Dragon is spawning in under 4 minutes. This buff is, we call it all the time, the Great Equalizer. This is the one that can completely change a game, even if you've been ahead the whole time. So for 100 Thieves, I either want to see them like get a Baron, just take over the game, end it here, or once that Elder spawns, play around it with the respect that it deserves, so they're making sure they're not giving away this lead they've spent 25 minutes building. It's been a marked improvement over game number 1 here for this squad, and I want to see them be able to close it out clean. Closer's going to walk up, try to check here a little bit, get Seismic shoved back, but the protection from Bjergsen is enough to make sure he doesn't have any real worries here. Guardian Angel also completed. He's in pretty much the same spot Spica was in the last game. You've got your Mythic, you've got your Guardian Angel, and you don't give a damn about when or where you got to engage.
Yeah, they are going to be so difficult to kill right now. Bloodthirster is done, Guardian Angel is done. A lot of spikes here, 400 Thieves. And so now, this time when they start up Baron, you know they mean it.
Well, FlyQuest is going to have to figure out what to do about this because the Baron has begun, and 100 Thieves have it down to about half HP. Impact's gonna walk up. He doesn't walk into the choppers just yet. VicLa rides the Weaver's wall forward. Prince firing a zap over, trying to take him out, but it's already secured by the side of 100 Thieves. Spica jumps over the wall. Cyclone onto 4, but where's the follow-up? Where's the damage? It's nowhere to be found just yet. Oh, Impact goes in. He shuts down Doublelift, and Prince gets back on the wall. Closer wants to finish him off. Both AD carries are dead as VicLa and Eyla try to survive the Zhao, but it will not be done. 100 Thieves has the money, and they'll beat FlyQuest to death with it.
Closer taking a 1v3 in the Baron pit by himself. Says, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Yes, Doublelift goes down, but the scary part now in this game is that the other 100 Thieves members are online. You can see the engage coming on in. Smite comes on through. It's Spica on the other side of the wall that sees an opportunity of a 4-man knockup, but where's the follow-up? You brought it up, CaptainFlowers. He's in no man's land. Impact able to get on top of Doublelift and take him down for the 1,000 gold shutdown. but in the pit, heal used, everything, trying to take Closer down. It's just not enough. So the rest of the 100 Thieves players are able to focus down Cassante. They're able to focus down the final remaining FlyQuest player. And in the end, it's Baron. It's 3 kills. It's 100 Thieves now up by 5,000 gold.
One other thing that's so cool about best of 5 series is that you can score little bonus points basically in individual games. Like the fact that 100 Thieves and Closer is having a big game on Xin this time, him flashing forward to 1v3 you, you're going to remember that. 100 Thieves are trying to imprint in your mind, fine, keep banning Closer's champs. He's okay on Xin. He's more than okay.
He's diving, and FlyQuest are having to kite back. Wild Growth was already used. Prince has that extra protection for now, but what else happens with Spica coming around for the flank? VicLa rides the wall, but he doesn't get a whole lot done with it. Doublelift now, popping the stasis. Beautifully done to drop some of the aggro, but he's still gonna be caught and killed. VicLa grabbing the credit now, as Closer again looks for Prince. The shutdown on Bjergsen. 100 Thieves are dropping like flies. Tenacity tries to survive, and Closer's gonna lose his Guardian Angel. A double kill back over to Impact, as Tenacity's dead body will be no more than just that. Closer goes right back in. It's a 5-for-0 ace, and Elder Dragon is the prize.
Prince winds up skating over the wall and stays alive, shells on 100 Thieves, and guess what? This time again, the Cassante gets in onto Doublelift, and he goes down right off the bat, not able to make an impact. And this looks like it's gonna be Elder Dragon. The great equalizer is here. The 5,000 gold lead is gone. Kobe, what just happened?
What just happened is FlyQuest just happened. My goodness. The team fight win. It's 2 objective bounties. Look at this. They're already falling off because FlyQuest have gained so much. But you get 1 more with that little timer as it's falling off, so they get the maximum out of objective bounties. With that objective bounty, they are now 1,000 gold in the lead, and they've got the Elder Dragon. Let's take a look at the actual fight though. Spica on your screen, flanking from the backside here. He's going to use his clone to get past Closer onto Doublelift. Doublelift uses the stopwatch, and who's there waiting for him as soon as he gets out of stopwatch? Impact and Spica. Doublelift did not get off a single rocket auto attack in that team fight. Absolutely immaculate assassination from FlyQuest there. The engage from VicLa, laying down the Taliyah traps. They get the stopwatch out of him really early, then kill him as soon as he gets back up. Meanwhile, Prince on Zeri, you said it, jumping over walls, much more difficult to finish him off. He's able to run it through, and FlyQuest now, guess what? Slingshot into the lead. What can they do with the remaining minute and a half of the Elder Dragon will be very telling, though.
That was a 6,000 gold difference swing right there within 45 seconds, as they're going to look to use this Elder buff in any capacity they can to try to keep the foot on the gas pedal as they're now in control.
And the big priority whenever you're up against an Elder Dragon team, do not fight while they have that Elder Dragon buff. Kobe, you said at the start of this game, red buff's the strongest buff. I disagree. I think the Elder Dragon is the strongest.
He's wrong. He is wrong.
I think the Elder Dragon's a little bit stronger than the
okay.
red.
You think I'm going to back down? No.
Yeah,
I'll hold my ground.
I respect the man who holds his ground, but right now, 100 Thieves have to surrender territory to make sure they don't get caught in an unwinnable fight. Mid lane tier 2 falls, and FlyQuest are now only 1 turret behind their counterparts in 100 Thieves. Remember that 100 Thieves still have some invisible gold value in terms of that Dragon Soul, but with Tenacity being knocked back, there could be some problems. Spica loses a big chunk of HP, but it's all right. FlyQuest still continue their push. They've got 30 seconds to go on the Elder buff.
Yeah, and luckily for them, Prince also has the red buff. So,
very important buff. I've heard that one's pretty strong.
Therein lies the true power.
Now, while that bot lane fight was about as bad as it could have gone for 100 Thieves, do they have to be a bit happy that Prince leaves that fight with only 1 kill on the Closer? All that winds up happening, and he only gets out with 1. So the Zeri still, I would say, pretty far behind Doublelift in terms of individual gold.
Yeah, so you're always looking at the exact items that gold has turned into in the late game, and it's a full item for Doublelift. So Doublelift has the Runon's Hurricane here, which, if he can actually get off autos, would be great.
Yes.
You know, that would be a big advantage. But Spica and Impact have said, guess what? Doublelift does not have an advantage because he's in the graveyard. Spica has played with Doublelift, for so long, Doublelift and Bjergsen, and he's really paying him back. He's got eyes only for that Jinx. And now that Impact has been able to combine with him in the backline, and everybody is on board with VicLa setting it up with Taliyah as well, it really comes down to execution here in the last team fight, because the Elder Dragon is gone. So it is 2,000 gold lead in the late game. Actually doesn't mean as much, but a Soul versus Baron setup here.
FlyQuest on the Baron, but not really committing to it. They're going very, very slow. All they want is a fight against 100 Thieves. Spica's waiting in the flank, but he's been seen. He's walking over a ward that was already placed down earlier, and now Closer's found Spica. He had to use the Wukong ulti, not on Doublelift. This is good for 100 Thieves, as FlyQuest loses a massive control mechanism. They also already committed the Taliyah wall. Tenacity's maybe looking for an opportunity to get a little bit closer. FlyQuest falling back and regrouping. 100 Thieves staying in a death ball.
Yeah, FlyQuest should just delay now. The power swing has occurred. That cooldown for Wukong ultimate is such a big one. While FlyQuest initially start the Baron, now that 100 Thieves have the cooldown advantage here, without Wukong ultimate, they're going to be the ones to start up the Baron. They have Ocean Soul as well. Impact here looking around. Spica's in that fog of war behind the Baron. He wants the W over. He wants to steal.
Spica still on the backside of the pit. 100 Thieves are stepping up. Impact's here in the front. He dives in, but now he's in the middle of everybody and nobody else is backing him up. Busio's going to be taken down to half. Double's taken down. Impact got him again. He just can't do wrong as Impact will continue to lead the charge. He jumps over the wall. Busio gonna find another nice death sentence. Impact getting himself away, but now 100 Thieves, they lost one man, and 3 are now separated from one of the remaining guys. Impact trying to bait everybody else close to him. He might die for this, but there's gonna be a lot more dead bodies wearing red. It's 100 Thieves getting caught out here in a real bad spot. Closer dropped. Guardian Angel's gonna bring him back, but it's hard to imagine a lot of value coming out of this one. VicLa takes him down, and now Bjergsen has to run from Spica. Prince jumps over the wall, and Bjergsen just gets his head beat in. Spica ain't worried about it none. He's got bigger jobs, and the job is named Tenacity. He'll try to walk himself away, but with VicLa over the wall, he don't mind throwing another rock. Eyla's gonna help back him up a little bit. They're delaying this. They're making it so the death timers are not synced up, and it means more control and more tempo for FlyQuest.
Yeah, that should be an easy Baron for FlyQuest. Impact, the North American top laner GOAT. Actually insane stuff there. Spica was walking all the way around the back of Baron. He was looking for the steal. He was not there to help kill Doublelift this time. That was all Impact, baby.
But if you look, when we see the replay here, as FlyQuest will secure the Baron, where does Doublelift even go? Because there was a player coming in from the top side river who was behind, so he had no escape. If you take a look at here, it's VicLa waiting. Where does Doublelift even try to escape to here?
So 100 Thieves, they should have the advantage in 5 players here, grouping up to focus this one side. But Impact, he soaks all of the damage, and then we see maybe 1 or 2 rocks from VicLa also hit, and they just delete him. There's a reason Impact has played 10 games of Cassante now. He tanks the massive amount of 100 Thieves damage, then immediately turns into an assassin. They take down the Jinx, and at that point, you know FlyQuest are going to chase them and corral them into the jungle and kill everyone else, because the Jinx is the heart of the team, is the big carry. And so here, all that's left is just picking up all the scraps.
And I do believe Prince got a little bit of damage onto Doublelift in that fight as well to guarantee that he got bursted down in time. But we're back to live, and we're back to the Elder Dragon. This can determine the entirety of the game right here in one fight. 100 Thieves are the ones tanking the aggro here initially. Impact gonna be played back into the team. He's trying to survive. VicLa comes around from the side, and now Doublelift's gonna be jumped on yet again. He's already dead, and Bjergsen dies beside him. 100 Thieves drove the car for so long in this game, but it has crashed, and it's all FlyQuest ready to take this one all the way home.
I mean, what brilliant execution. The Taliyah wall to trap them in, and then there's just enough of a spot for Wukong to come up through, knock everybody up. It's another ace, as FlyQuest has absolutely turned up at the end of game 2.
We were talking earlier about how, hey, you know, if you can have that Zin in game 2, you bring it back, they're going to keep that in their mind. The thing in 100 Thieves' mind now is they were up 6,000 gold. They were up a Drake's soul. They shoulda, coulda, would have won this game, but FlyQuest said no. The ace in the bottom lane, the incredible pick power of Impact on the K'Sante brings FlyQuest to match point.
Wow. FlyQuest. What an impressive comeback this game. Assassinating Doublelift over and over and over again. Team fight after team fight. Pulling this one back. That is going to be difficult for 100 Thieves to remain stable and reset for the rest of this series.
I believe Doublelift was something like 6-0 in that game, and I got to see the scoreboard again. I think he might have ended 6-5. His impact was immediately just dropped on down because of impact on K'Sante, but it's a rough go right there as FlyQuest now up 2-0 in our best of 5, and this task just got a hell of a lot harder for 100 Thieves to try to win this one and guarantee themselves to play in Rally.
One of the biggest tests is the best of 5s like this, really putting you to the edge and how you can kind of wipe the first two from your memory and focus on the game at hand, the task at hand. Very, very difficult, especially since they did the salty run back, though, because now it's going to be super hard for them to search for something.
Right. We saw a much better execution on what the plan was this time around from 100 Thieves. But unfortunately, I think if nothing else, this game has shown us, okay, the execution was also not enough because FlyQuest were still able to find a way back into the game and find the win. So it's up to 100 Thieves to figure it out from here. But for now, we're going to head back over to the LCS Lounge to break down the FlyQuest comeback.
Thank you, Flowers. We are here at the lounge in a different spot because we're going to be watching a bunch of highlights from this absolute banger game we just had. That's kind of cool, really cool.
K'Sante!
That's
right.
later.
We're gonna pause right here, if we can. Here's where Busio lands this, but actually, what I want to point out is the fact that Closer is coming down right here. From the river.
You can blow up the minimap too.
Yeah, I should have done that.
It's gonna be so large
prior. But yeah, we can keep rolling. I think the reason why I did want to highlight this gank, this ends up being first blood for Doublelift, is we talked about how these drafts work. We talked about what Closer wants to do on this Xin Zhao early, and this is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, and the vision trail from 100 Thieves side, from the river to the bot lane, makes it easy for Closer to make another wraparound. He tried last game, couldn't find the opening. This time, he was able to do it and gave them that huge advantage.
It felt like everything was going 100 Thieves' way, funneling Doublelift this time around. Top side was largely ignored. Yes, K'Sante was getting a gold lead, but it didn't feel like it was going to matter when you get this Rift Herald charge and all these plays accelerating 100 Thieves, who also had great bot dragon control, with this extra bot play.
The coolest thing, I would have paused it earlier, but the coolest thing going into this was the fact that they had already sent the Sion down. Bjerg was already rotating down here as well. And it was just, it's neat to see the setup on this. They also had some good setups prior to this, I believe, with swapping their bot lane top so that they got this Herald first additionally. So with the early attention bot side, 100 Thieves did a really good job with their early to mid lane assignments and being able to set up stuff like this.
Yeah. This felt like a 100 Thieves win, right?
This felt
because they crashed bottom lane. Doublelift, I think, started like 4-0. He was a full item ahead of Prince the whole time. They had Ocean Soul really early.
Yeah, and I mean, even after this replay, the fact that the Drake was spawning, so they were able to get Drake. They didn't lose too much topside. Orianna TP top lane to get the wave. It felt like everything was going well.
I think
it's still going well. It's going to go well for a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, this is another fight where, like, thank God Prince got the Rift Herald, because I feel like if this actually went 100 Thieves' way, because the fight was like 4-3, it was very close, or maybe it was 3-2, but like the fact that they were able to get the Rift Herald away from them and slow the snowball down a little bit, bought time for K'Sante to start popping off.
Yeah, I mean, just look how untouched Doublelift was in this fight. I think that's the biggest tweak, is once K'Sante got enough items, the fights got a little spicy, but this is still...
Can we pause for a second here? I just want to highlight, I think my finger can do it. There's no Lulu ultimate here, so this is like a good play that they usually want to do, but Impact is just slightly behind the rest of the play. Normally in the later fights where they start winning these, he and Spica are comboed at the exact same time. There was no ult here to save Spica, which is normally when you get that kind of like 3-man knockup from the Lulu ult comboed with the Wukong. And without that, there was just too easy for 100 Thieves to focus him down.
And this is the first fight that actually was conducted differently from FlyQuest. For the most part, it was front to back, no flanking whatsoever. That one fight, even if it was a 100 Thieves win, it was actually made a little bit difficult because of the Wukong ultimate that hit the back line. And it happened again and again.
There's the double bounce there.
So can we pause this fight and basically just make sure we're paying attention to Doublelift? Because this was the first fight, even though they got Baron, we're like, wait a minute, K'Sante got him. And
Yes.
this was actually the thing that happened every fight thereafter. Every single time he was able to dive him.
Well, the thing too was, if you look Doublelift's inventory, he didn't buy armor pen until 5th item, and Cassante was just full stacking. He bought an Anathemas as well to make sure that like Doublelift's the carry, let's kill him, and they made it so the only magic damage was Bjergsen, and you really don't want to be using all your spells as Bjergsen on the Cassante. So even though this fight is still going 100 Thieves' way, you begin to see the cracks in how they're approaching the team fights.
Yeah, eyes on Impact and Doublelift here, and just over and over again, they were able to get him.
I'll pause it here. This is one of those fights where I was talking. Yeah, there it is. Where I was talking about the problem in the early game fights, easier for Thresh to be able to lantern whoever as an option to get out of there, either Bjergsen, but most of the time Doublelift. Here, there is no way out. Doublelift is stopwatching now, but Bjergsen's under a lot of threat here, with Thresh not being able to do anything. And so when he zonias inevitably, is Doublelift that gets taken down. So the whole security of a front to back is just gone. Taliyah for the rest of the game, as we'll go on, as we can start playing now.
She's going in.
She's going in.
She's like, I'm a flanking Taliyah now.
Yes, flanking Taliyah, flanking Cassante and Wukong, and eventually, and we'll see in the later fights, it's also a flanking Prince.
I mean, that was a pretty nuts engage by Spica for like a level 12 Wukong who's behind.
Yeah, I mean, Spica understood his job very quickly. You can see it accelerate a lot of goals.
Here's
But
the
here,
final
pause
play.
this. This is, it's textbook. Into the pinch quarter, setting them up for Spica for a giant wombo combo. VicLa flying in from the flank at the same time, and they're just going to obliterate the stack of Busio, Bjergsen, and Doublelift. All three of them kind of in this pinch.
I mean, maybe Busio needs to be on the, like, basically where that control word is over on the right.
Even further back?
Maybe, because then he at least has a chance to lantern. If you don't do that, you're doomed. I think it's probably doomed.
It's pretty doomed because the easy thing about a Wukong against a Thresh is you can interrupt the lantern if you just are standing between them with your ult running. It'll interrupt it almost every time. So just cursed.
Yeah.
Just cursed to play as Doublelift this game.
And I think one thing I do want to point out, because we've talked about how good 100 Thieves team fighting is, one thing I do want to say on the side of FlyQuest is my problem has not necessarily been their 5v5 team fighting, but where they choose to fight, right? So in a lot of the games where you saw them lose in the LCS, it's because they would choose fights before their item spikes would hit, or when their champions were just like not in a good position to fight.
Yeah.
We even saw it with the Lulu ult being down in that top lane fight, right?
Yeah.
Look at that 80 carry damage difference, though.
One of these people is hitting
Marcus running up.
four armor item Anathemas chains enemy every time and getting exploded at the start of team
It's
fight.
not that he couldn't hit, it's that he
This isn't
he was
fair to
hitting
him.
didn't take damage.
Even the person he was hitting sucked, and he was getting jumped on every fight. So I don't feel bad for Doublelift. That's like the team diff.
Yeah, and we were talking a lot about just how the fights are conducted, the flanks that were threatening. One of the replays, the one on Inhib, started basically from the fight point going forward, but they had already made the mistake. They dove past that turret. Essentially, we're going so far that they were going to fight through to the mid-inhib turret. So they dove so far deep that they allowed FlyQuest to take an angle behind them that just lost them the entire lead that they had. So that's one fight they will be looking at and not trying to make that mistake again.
Yep, and going forward, 100 Thieves, they did what we wanted them to do.
Blue side.
Chose blue side. Going into match point, just a reminder, LCS team emotes are now currently live in the client, including designs from 100 Thieves and FlyQuest, which are these.
100 Thieves
My
and FlyQuest.
personal favorite is the crab for Crab 9 is the best, in my opinion. So grab yours now and spam chat with whoever you think is going to win game 3 after the break.
It's a sweep angle. It's 3-0.
Wow.
No!
Sweep.
You would have been
Closer's here in the middle, as Impact wants to tank up in the front. Spica's ready to follow it up here with a Cyclone. Closer's taking low, but he ain't gonna be taken down. Finally falls over. Spica taking a lot of damage. Where's Prince at? Massive shockwave coming out of Bjergsen. A double kill, that kind of double lift. And 100 Thieves just got free. VicLa rides the wall, but he doesn't get a whole lot done with it. Doublelift now, popping the stasis. Beautifully done to drop some of the aggro, but he's still gonna be caught and killed. VicLa grabbing the credit now. As Closer again looks for Prince. The shutdown on Bjergsen. 100 Thieves are dropping like flies. Tenacity tries to survive, and Closer's gonna lose his Guardian Angel. A double kill back over to Impact, and Tenacity's dead body will be no more than just that. Closer goes right back in. It's a 5-0 ace.